Greetings, 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 peace, love, harmony, and light. What it is, family, what it is, what it is, what it is. This is Chief Kalanago with another video. First off, I want to give thanks to the Great Spirit, give thanks to my ancestors for just allowing me to do what I do and just always using me as a vessel, man, to put in this work. All right, I want to say, the usual greetings, Sak Pase, Mabrikwa, Osio, Halito, Shalom, Aloha, what the deal is, why go on. Let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. I know a few of you already up in the chat. Crush the Legend. What's up, what's up, what's up, family? All right, we have Empress Everlasting Waters. I got your email with your contact information. So I already know how you and the king do. So by all means, I'm gonna keep y'all in the loop, let you guys know what's going on. All right. Today, pardon me a little bit if I end up, coughing a little bit, only because I just came from doing a little bit of running and it's cold out, and that cold air got in my lungs. So it kind of contracted my lungs a little bit. So, but pardon me for that. All right. But I just want to talk about peace and love, my sister Onyx. I just want to talk about, as you can see, the topic. Let's talk about, abortions, adoption, and more. I think this is a topic that I haven't seen too many of what people talk about, and I need to get into that. All right. Reason being is because we don't realize, it's an epidemic. All right. There's an abortion epidemic, literally across the U.S. And in my opinion, and based on statistics, it looks like over 75 to 80%, if not more, of the abortion rate, all right, is pretty much, prevalent or rampant in our communities. You know what I mean? So I think we should definitely address that, because if you ask me, that's a form of not paper genocide, but it's a form of genocide. So I know it's a very touchy subject, and, I'm gonna, just make an attempt to address it without disrespecting anybody. But first, let me just make my disclaimer. All this is coming out of love. Peace and love to you, Zazie. It's coming out of love, and sometimes it takes tough love. I can't say that I know what it feels like to be, in a woman's position, you know what I'm saying, where she have to make those type of decisions. I can't say. So I'm not here to, pass any judgment. That's not what this is about. But I want us to look at it from an overall perspective and the effect that it's having on our communities and our people. So with that being said, let us do a little, let me share my screen. All right. Aboriginal American deities, peace and love, fam. All right. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to get into this. All right. Please be respectful. And once again, I can't say what it means, brother. Roman Wolf, peace, brother. I can't say what it means, again, to be in the position or put in the position of a woman, any woman. All right. I don't care, what your ethnicity is. All right. That puts you in a position to make such decisions. So this is not about judgment. All right. I'm looking at it from the perspective of it being genocide on our people. All right. So let me share my screen. Let me share my screen, and let's get into this. All right. Let me see what we have here. Here we go. All right. So this is from the First Pregnancy Resource Center. Okay. I'm not going to play the video. However, I'm going to read a little bit of what they have. How can I help stop abortion? It says, take action and get educated about abortion. Pro-life knows exactly what to say without heated arguments. Okay. Now, statistics, abortion statistics, right? 1 in 4 women have had an abortion. So literally, if you walk down the street right now and you see 4 women, 1 of them had an abortion, and that's based on statistics. All right. Only 1.5 of the abortions are due to rape and incest. All right. So basically what that's, and again, this is based on statistics, right? What they're saying is only 1.5% of abortions are due to rape and incest. So in other words, another 99.95% is not due to abortion. I mean, it's not due to rape and or incest. You feel me? So they're insinuating that that bigger percentage of abortion is not because of rape or incest. Okay? In 2015, approximately 35% of all pregnancies in New York City ended in abortion. Now, that's a huge number. That's a huge percentage. You feel what I'm saying? That's a huge percentage, family. So we talking about roughly every 10 women that was walking in New York, 3.2 or 3.15 out of that 10 had an abortion in 2015. And it says for the African American women in NYC, more abortions happened than babies being born. Now, this is alarming. And when we speak of African American women, we know who we are talking about. We are talking about indigenous women. We are talking about American Aboriginal women. We are talking about American Indian women for the most part. You feel what I'm saying? So that's my concern right here. This is my concern. For African American women in New York City, and that's just in New York City alone, more abortions happen than babies being born. Now tell me, why is that? Now, again, I'm not here to judge, but as a thinking man, I have to question those things. Why is that? With so much help and then child support, the family court, oh, well, we have the best interest of the child. Well, why are we having more abortions in New York than babies being born by so-called African American women? But they always seem to play a role. We have the best interest of the child when it comes to making sure they destroy a father's life. But we're not gonna get into that, because this is a personal subject, personal thing when it comes, dealing with children, and how, the disparities between parenting with a man and a woman. And sometimes it's crazy how the system could allow a lot of women to take advantage of that situation. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying men are always doing the right thing. So I'm not going to get into that. I'll get into that another time. All right. So I don't want to divert from what I'm talking about. But however, we're going to talk. This is alarming to me. For more African American women in New York, more abortions happen than babies being born. All right. Now, abortion facts. Now, facts are always based on, to me, facts are always based on perception, right? Sometimes somebody's facts could be somebody's opinion. Sometimes somebody's opinion could be somebody's facts. So we go in based on their own perception of their research that they made, and they have called it fact, all right, or facts rather. As of 2019, New York abortion law now allows for abortions all the way to full term. Now, come on, man. I don't care what anybody say. From the moment that egg hit the sperm, or that sperm hit the egg, either way, vice versa, that's life. Okay? People don't realize that your birth date and your arrival date is two different things. Okay? Your birth date is during conception. When that sperm hit that egg, that's your birth. That's your birth. Okay? When you come out of the mother, that's your arrival date. So for the moment that sperm hit that egg, you have life. That's a living, breathing child. But now you saying that the law passed that you could have abortions up to full term? Man, in my opinion, again, that's just my opinion. That's murder. Okay? So, well, yeah, women have a choice to choose. Choose to do what? Kill babies? And again, like I said, that's just my opinion. That is just my opinion, and I'm entitled to that. Because that's a life. That's a life at the end of the day. So to me, passing those type of laws, especially when African American women are having more abortions than birth, to me, that's a problem. Because if it was the other way around, where it was Caucasian women or Asian women or Arab women or Jewish women, that wouldn't be the case. All right? I walk around in Crown Heights in Williamsburg in Brooklyn. You feel me? And I see Jewish women walking around with, I'm talking about one woman pushing 4 strollers. That's how many babies she got. So how is that they are educated to have their babies, but we are taught to abort our babies? Now, once again, I can't put myself in a woman's position. So I'm not here to judge. I'm not judging you. I'm just looking at statistics, all right, and the genocide of our people. That's what I'm looking at. Because when we look at the ratio, all right, or the statistics of our women aborting babies compared to other ethnic groups, I'm talking about we outdoing them by a huge margin of at least 80%, if not more. So why is that? So to me, it's all about education and the lack of education. Because you see, they are being taught, and you see, they have communities. When you have communities, the woman is not the only one that's left to take care of the children. But you see, Jewish people, they have their communities. Their money circulate within their communities at least 15 times before it go out. In the Asian community, at least 10 to 12 times. The Arab community, at least 8 times. But in our community, our money don't circulate at all. As soon as it comes into your pocket, it goes into another ethnic business. Okay? And of course, we know a business is not ethnic, but you know what I'm talking about, of another ethnicity. So it's about education. It's the lack of education, the lack of community, the lack of village. That's why our women are more susceptible to having abortions. Because if only 1.5 abortions is due to rape and incest, that means over 98 point whatever percent of abortions is based not on incest and rape. So that means there were other factors that played into a woman having an abortion. Now I'm gonna say, well, if it wasn't due to incest and rape, then let's look at a few other possibilities, right? Hard time, financial stress. Okay, that could be a possibility. Lack of support. The father is not around. Okay, low self-esteem. All right, depression. We have other situations like, okay, well, you know what? Even if the father is not around, no family, no friends to give that spiritual and moral support. So essentially, we are looking at it from a financial perspective, and we are looking at it from an emotional perspective, the lack of support. So how do we change that around? You see, I tell people, only we could fix our situations. Nobody's going to fix it for us. Nobody. Because every other ethnic group, they come together, they create communities and villages to take care of their own. And who they learn that from us. I hear women walking around talking about, oh, I'm proud to be a single mother. I'm the mother and the dad. No, you're not the dad. You could never be a dad. You could never replace a dad. Okay? I know you're trying to fill a void, but you could never be a father. The only thing you could do is be the best mother that you can be. That's it. You cannot try to be a father, and you sure can not be a father. So when I hear that, to me, it irks me, because it's pure ignorance that our women are put in a position where they have to feel they have to be the father and the mother at the same time. So brothers, we got to step up. You got to step up. Stop running around having babies or just having sex. If you want to have sex, wrap it up. Put on a condom, because you're bringing innocent babies into this world, into your chaotic situations, into your situations that has no structure. So we cannot just put it all on the women. It takes two. They didn't make them babies by themselves. You feel me? So because she look good, she's walking down the street, that little booty is wiggling. I get it. You know what I mean? That's what men do. You know, we love, well, not every man, but for the most part, men love women. So my thing is, if you feel you want to get into a relationship, regardless of the status of the relationship, it ends up where you are having a sexual relationship, okay, then all I'm just saying is wrap it up. If you're not in a position to take care of babies, all right, be responsible. And my sisters, don't just wait for him to take the responsibility to wrap it up. Make sure he wrap it up. And to protect yourself, make sure you take some type of control. I don't know what type of birth control you're going to take, but make sure you protect yourself so that you don't have a baby by a man that's not going to be around. If you feel you just want to have a good time, that's on you. I cannot tell you what not to do and what to do when it comes to having sex. But all I'm just saying is be responsible. Be responsible. Even if you don't want to wear a condom, not forget, well, you ain't worried about diseases. If you're not worried about that, that's on you too. That's your choice. All I'm just saying is make sure you're on some type of control. Do your research. Maybe you could get something as close to natural as possible. I don't know. The point I'm making is don't just leave it up to him to wear a condom, because you know dudes, man. You feel me? So all I'm just saying, man, let us be more responsible. Okay, I'm going to read this again. As of 2019, New York abortion laws allows abortions up to all the way to full term. Now, this is alarming to me right here. There are nearly 1 million abortions per year average, and that's just one reported. And that's just once reported. So we're looking about 1 million babies. And we already know that our women that they call African American, all right, are having more abortions than giving birth. So we are talking about damn near over 800,000 babies, so-called African American babies, are being aborted every year. We got to do better than this. We got to. We are diminishing our population, okay, while other people are growing their population. Now tell me that is not genocide. Tell me that this is not planned. Now I'm just reading right now. I can't see the chat, so I can't respond to anything that you're saying, but we'll get back into it. Right now, I just want to be focused on that because this is very touchy. And once again, let me make my disclaimer. I can't put myself in your position, okay, to know what it feels like and what you have to go through if you were one of the people who had to make that decision. So I'm not here to judge you. All I'm just saying is moving forward, let us make better decisions so we don't have to put ourselves in those positions. Grandma always told me growing up, prevention is better than cure. Another thing grandma used to say is a stitch in time saves 9. A stitch in time saves 9. All right. Here's another one. It says Planned Parenthood is the nation's largest abortion provider. Now we have to go look at the foundation of that family, see where it came from. Here we go again. A child's heart beats at 21 days. It is audible at 8 to 10 weeks gestation. So we are talking about a living, breathing baby. And I'm not here to make you feel bad, okay, of decisions that you have made in the past. If you were one of the women who had to go through that, all right, I'm not here to judge you. I don't know. I don't know what it feels like. I cannot get pregnant, so I don't know. So this is not about what you have done in the past. It's about how do we move forward so that we can start healing ourselves as a people. We got to love each other, man. And we got to make sure we take care of each other, and that support is there. Too many people are wanting to be single. You know what I'm saying? Single mothers. Too many people wanting to be independent. That is not part of our culture. Because when you speak of being independent, that means you have to do everything on your own. That means you don't need a job. That means you don't need money from nobody else. That means you don't need no hand-downs. That's not being independent. You are being dependent. But you see, they got your mind so messed up. You thinking being independent only means that, oh, I don't need a man. And that is the system that's putting that void between our men and our women. Granted, you could be in a relationship and the relationship don't work out. That's part of life. It doesn't mean that you cannot co-parent. But everybody get their emotions involved. Oh, she's a this, oh, he's a that, and forget there's a little beautiful baby that's involved. Because every adult is about themselves, not thinking about the babies. You know what I'm saying? Unless, you have a good time, you get in the sack, you have a good time, here comes the baby. Now you realize, man, we have nothing in common. I'm just saying. We all have gone down the road at some point. I had my own experience. I had to deal with it the best way that I could. But I made the best out of that situation. I made sure that I was there for my son, regardless of what the situation was. Regardless. Because that's what real men do. So any man that don't step up for the children and support the woman that they have and the children with, and supporting their children, I have no respect for you. I don't care what the situation is. I don't care what she does. I don't care what she says. I don't care what the circumstances are. Nothing should prevent you from being in your child's life. It doesn't mean that you have to be with her. Okay? Because things don't work out. That's life. Sometimes we come together for a season. We come together for a reason. But when you have a child, you have to forget all the differences that y'all have and focus on that child. Make sure that that child have that balance of a mother and a father. And that's all I'm saying. All right. Let me go to the next. So Planned Parenthood. So you see, if we go back here, okay, it says what? Planned Parenthood is the nation's largest abortion provider. Now, to me, that again is crucial. Okay, that is crucial. That is very, very crucial. All right, especially when our women are aborting over 800,000 babies a year. More babies are being aborted than being born by African American women. And I think it's about the education, and I think it's being done intentionally. Again, that is just my opinion. Feel free to disagree. We are all entitled to our own. Okay? Planned Parenthood. And that's from the Washington Post. Margaret Sanger, Planned Parenthood and Black Abortions, Ben Carson false claim. All right? 2018. Well, maybe I am not objective, and that's Ben Carson speaking. Maybe I am not objective when it comes to Planned Parenthood, but I know who Margaret Sanger is, and I know that she believed in eugenics and that she was not particularly enamored with Black people. We're just going to read it for what it is. We're not going to play the semantics right now. We know who they are talking about, right? And one of the reasons that you find most of their clinics in Black neighborhoods is so that you can find a way to control that population. Okay, now they say it's a false claim, but I agree with what he's saying. You know what I mean? Whether he said it, whether he meant it or not, he said it. Hey, I agree. Okay, and I think people should go back and read about Margaret Sanger, who founded this place. A woman who Hillary Clinton, by the way, says she admires. Y'all love the Clintons so much. Okay, look and see what many people in the Nazi Germany thought of her. Okay. GOP presidential hopeful Ben Carson interviews on Fox News. That was in 2015. We have delved before into the question of birth control pioneer Margaret Sanger, eugenics, and her attitude about African Americans. During the 2012 election season, when Herman Cain made similar remarks suggesting Planned Parenthood targets Blacks, the 2011 fact check came under attack for allegedly sugarcoating Sanger's record, in particular for some language on her paternalistic view of blacks that we later acknowledge was a poor choice of words. Carson's remarks are less inflammatory than Keynes, but the implications is similar. The claim is that Sanger, 1879 to 1966, who founded what is now Planned Parenthood, was racist, and Planned Parenthood thus have a deliberate policy of trying to control the black population by placing most of her clinics in black neighborhoods. Carson, a neurosurgeon, also added a Nazi connection. Look and see what many people in Nazi Germany thought about her. The facts, Sanger and blacks. Carson's campaign initially sent us a blog item with alleged quotes from Sanger. Colored people are like human weeds, that turned out to be unverified and false. The quotes appear to arise from statements that we were more general in nature, though most readers would find them objectionable today. How are we to breed a race of human thoroughbreds unless we follow the same plan? We must make this country into a garden of children instead of a disorderly back lot overrun with human weeds. And that was in 1924. Now, how am I supposed to look at that? So did Ben Carson, misinterpret what she was saying? No. You see, they always want to make an excuse to sugarcoat the things they say. But we know we know who's being targeted. Come on, we got to open our eyes and see the real for what it is. So she did, that's exactly what she meant. Okay? Starting in 1916, Sanger's clinics at first were aimed mainly at poor immigrant women. The first clinic was in a neighborhood populated largely by Italians and Eastern European Jews, according to the 2010 book Birth Control on Main Street by Kathy Morin Hajo. Sanger did not open a Harlem clinic until the 1930s, even though infant mortality rates there were similar. Hajo found that in 1916 to 1939 period, white activists were more likely to exclude African Americans from clinics rather than include them. There were some half-hearted efforts to create African American clinics, but white activists actually gave little or no assistance. Whatever the activists' personal beliefs about race may have been, there was no grand program to exterminate non-whites or the poor whites, Hajo concluded. In the late 1930s, Sanger began an effort to bring the clinics to the rural South in what was called the Negro Project. Sanger recruited black leaders to support the effort, and in letters to the project's director urged that white men who were outsiders should not run the clinics. She said the effort would gain more credibility with greater community involvement given natural suspicions. All right. So now you're saying, well, you know what? Let's take the black men out of those clinics and get community so-called black leaders so that it don't seem suspicious. By the mere fact that you are saying that and making that statement, all right, it alludes me to say that there is an underlying message that you are sending, but you don't want to put it out there in the forefront. Okay, and again, that's just my opinion. All right, just my opinion. Now it says, the minister's work is also important and he should be trained, perhaps by the Federation, as to what ideals and goals that we hope to reach, Sanger wrote in 1939 letter. Why it always got to be the ministers? They are always using the church to get to our people. All right, during slavery, it was the same thing. Let us have the pastors bring the people in the church and let's brainwash them and let's teach them that, hey, you know what? God said it's okay to be a slave. Here we go now with the abortion clinics. Well, let us get the ministers. All right. It's important that we should what? They should be trained. They should be trained. You see, you have to read between the lines. Perhaps by the Federation as to our ideals. What ideals? When you say our ideals, whose ideals are you talking about? And the goal that we hope to reach. Who is we? So when these people are speaking, they speak with a double tongue. All right. They speak from a perspective where they want it to seem like they're being moral. But when you read between the lines, it's nothing but devilish ways and devilish activities. You feel me? Because our ideals are not your ideals, and your ideals are not our ideals. We are a distinct people with our own culture and ideologies, and having abortions is not one of them. That was never part of our culture. But those are your ideals. So we got to read between the lines, okay? We do not want word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population, and the minister is the man who can straighten out that idea if it ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members. You see what I'm saying? It's always the pastors to make, the congregation passive. You see what they say? To their more rebellious members. So in other words, the passive ones, we're cool with them. But the rebellious ones, let's get the pastors. Because we don't want the word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population. Well, by the mere fact that you are saying that, there's always some truth in every lie. Okay? There is always some truth in every lie. The mere fact that you are making that statement, subconsciously, that's what you are saying. But you want the conscious mind to see something else. You want them to perceive something else. We don't need you to make those type of determinations for us. Y'all came and met us here. We never had a problem with abortions because we had communities, we had villages, we had clans, we had tribes. Well, not tribes, we had clans. Okay? So there was no such thing as a single mother. No, thank you, Beyonce. That is not part of our culture. Single women. There was always a community to raise the children. I grew up in a village where everybody knew everybody. Okay? Police officers didn't go around arresting people for no reason. Okay, I'm telling you straight up, I know because my mother was a cop. Police officers used to go, and if a child did something, they would go knock on that parent's door. Miss such and such, Mr. such and such, your son, your daughter is doing this. It would have to be an extreme for a child to get arrested. Now our children cannot even walk on the sidewalk with a bike in their hand or ride their bike. I mean, in New York, it's crazy. You ride your bike on the sidewalk, you get tickets. But yet still, there's no playground for our children. It only started happening because Caucasians are moving into Brooklyn now. They're taking over Brooklyn. All of a sudden, there's trees on the sidewalks. All of a sudden, there's no left turn. All of a sudden, there's no right turn. All of a sudden, the speed limit is 25. Back in the day, the speed limit was 95. Oh, go ahead and kill these Negroes. Now, a lot of you could get mad for me speaking the truth. I'm just going to continue to speak the truth, man. It is what it is. If you don't want the truth and you don't want the facts, go ahead and unsubscribe. It makes no difference to me. I'm going to speak the truth. And all of a sudden, we're getting bike lanes in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Like, what happened before the pale people moved into our neighborhoods? Our children didn't need bike lanes? Come on, man. But you see, these things are happening because we allow it to. Because too many people is about me. If it doesn't affect me, well, who cares? Until it happens to you, then all of a sudden, you want everybody's support. All right? The Enoch Foley written passage is frequently taken out of context to suggest Sanger was seeking to exterminate blacks. No, to me, again, I'm entitled to my opinion. All right? It wasn't taken out of context. That's what she was saying. And that's me saying that. Period. All right? Sanger and the Nazis. Sanger was a supporter of now discredited eugenics movement, which aimed to improve humans by either encouraging or discouraging reproduction based on genetic traits. Now, come on, man. Think about that right there. Just that paragraph alone. Sanger was a supporter of now discredited eugenics movement, which aim to improve humans. Who gave you that authority? And who said humans need improvement? What are you talking about? By either encouraging or discouraging reproduction based on genetic traits. Who do you think that's going to affect? If it's only based on genetic traits. Because it is quite obvious we have the dominant gene and you have the recessive gene. So what are you talking about? Come on, man. At one point in 1938, she even crafted a proposed law that included this provision: feeble-minded persons, habitual, congenital criminals, those afflicted with the inheritable disease, and others found biologically unfit by authorities, qualified judge should be sterilized, or in cases of doubt should be so isolated as to prevent the perpetuation of the inflictions by breeding. Come on, man. Like, seriously. So who do you think this is affecting? When they're looking at our men as animals, you hear what it says? Biologically unfit by authorities, qualified judges, all right, should be sterilized. What are you talking about? In cases of doubt, should be. So now it's your determination to decide, okay, who a feeble-minded person is. Habitual, congenital criminals. Who made them criminals? Afflicted with inheritable disease. What kind of disease are we talking about? Being black, the disease you're talking about? And other found biologically unfit by authorities. So authorities is going to do the research and tell you biologically you are unfit. And it's authorized by qualified judges, and they should what? They should sterilize them, or in case of doubt, should be so isolated as to prevent the perpetuation, meaning that the continuation of the afflictions by breeding. In other words, you know what? Isolated means what? Take them out of the general population and put them in what? Put them in prisons. So exactly what she was implying is it took effect, and it's happening today. Because our men are behind bars, so therefore they cannot breed. They get attracted to men, so even when they come out, they will not breed. Come on, man. Man, listen, y'all. Sanger said she wanted to give certain dysgenic groups in our population their choice of segregation or sterilization, which some have interpreted as reference to concentration camps. It is what it is. Adolf Hitler and Nazi Germany also embraced the principles of eugenics and put them to the genocidal use. But any real link between Sanger and the Nazis, let alone praise of the Nazis for Sanger, is rather tenuous. Well, whether it is or not, based on, you know, what she's talking about, we could see the relation, okay? We could see there's some type of coherence. Carsten's campaign pointed to an alleged connection between Sanger and Ernest Rudin, a German eugenicist who oversaw the mass sterilization policies of Nazi Germany. They're talking about Ben Carson, right? Carsten's campaign said she published an article by Rudin in the magazine Birth Control Review in 1932, but she had resigned as editor several years before that particular issue was published. The campaign also noted that she appointed to the board of Birth Control League Lathrop Saudade, a eugenicist who had close ties to the Nazis and even met with Hitler. Yet one of the most thorough looks at the connection between American eugenicists and Germany Nazis, the Nazi connection by German professor Stefan Kuehl, makes no mention of Sanger, though Stoddard is featured. Sanger is briefly mentioned in another of one of Kuehl's books, for the betterment of the race, mostly in connection with her efforts to assemble an international conference on birth control specialists to combat overpopulation. Are you God? Are you the Great Spirit? Who the hell are you to determine what is overpopulation? Come on, man, the nerve of these people. The presumptuousness of these people, man, to determine what or who or when overpopulation takes place. She was very positive about eugenically motivated sterilization. Kuhl said in an email, but he said the typical mistake is linking eugenics in general too closely to Nazi race policy. There have been very different strands of eugenics: national, socialist, racist, liberal, socialist, Catholic, Jewish, and so on. They all to me have the same underlying foundation, and that is to what? Get rid of the Negro population, whether it may be here in the Americas or in Africa or in Asia or in Europe. That's just what it is, period, man. It is what it is. The U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum says that the Nazi Germany was not the first or only country to sterilize people considered abnormal. What does abnormal means? What does it mean to be abnormal? And we're talking about, everybody's talking about the Jewish Holocaust. What happened to the American Indian Holocaust? Nobody's talking about that. Come on, man. Before Hitler, the United States led the world in forced sterilizations. You see that? Before Hitler, the United States led the world in forced sterilizations. Between 1907 and 1939, more than 30,000 people in 29 states were sterilized, many of them unknowingly or against their will. So if y'all don't know, man, the curse that, the injustice that this United States government has implemented on people, y'all should be ashamed to call yourself United States citizens, period. All right? But anyway, I'm going to take that link and put it in the link below, and you could do your own reading. Like I said, I don't know what's going on in the chat. I'm assuming that I'm still live, but I'm going to read some more. All right? Here's another article. Okay? Here's another article. That is fact check on that. We just read about that, about what Ben Carson said. That was another because I like to cross-reference things, right? So that's another one. I'm not going to read that, but what I'm going to do now, let us do a little research on Margaret Sanger. All right. Now, for those of you who don't know what eugenics is, okay, let's just say, what is eugenics?
Here's the definition of eugenics: the science of improving a human population by controlled breeding to increase the occurrence of desirable heritable characteristics. Developed largely by Francis Galton as a method of improving the human race, it fell into disfavor only after the perversion of its doctrines by the Nazis.
Okay, so here we go. The science of improving a human population by controlled breeding. By controlled breeding to increase the occurrence of desirable heritable characteristics. In other words, you are playing God. And those characteristics that are hereditary, who determines when it's desirable or not? We could say that your characteristics, you inherited, that it's not desirable, because all you do is destroy things and burn things and murder and rape and pillage. So let me ask you a question. Are those characteristics, are they good characteristics? Margaret Sanger, you should have performed, eugenics on yourself. Period. Okay? It said developed largely by Francis Galton, but at the end of the day, let's read again what it is. The science of improving a human population by controlled breeding to increase the occurrence of desirable heritable characteristics. So in other words, if you make the determination, like we read earlier, that a qualified judge makes the determination that your characteristics that is inherited, it is not desirable, then you have a right to be castrated. You have a right to be sterilized. Come on, man. Let us read again. Margaret Sanger. Higgins Sanger, born Margaret Louise Higgins, September 14th, 1879, September 6th to September 6th, 1966, also known as Margaret Sanger Slee, was an American, but she wasn't an American. She was a United States citizen. So I'm going to put it in context. All right? She was a United States citizen, birth control activist, sex educator, writer, and nurse. Sanger popularized the term birth control, opened the first control clinic in the United States, and established organizations that evolved into the Planned Parenthood Federation of America. Sanger used her writings and speeches primarily to promote her way of thinking. She was prosecuted for her book, Family Limitation, under the Comstock Act in 1914. She was afraid of what would happen, so she fled to Britain until she knew it was safe to return to the United States. Sanger's efforts contributed to several judicial cases that helped legalize contraception in the United States. Due to her connection with Planned Parenthood, Sanger is a frequent target of criticism by the opponents of abortion. However, Sanger drew a sharp distinction between birth control and abortion and was opposed to abortion through the bulk of her career. Sanger remains an admired figure in the United States reproductive rights movement. She has been criticized for supporting eugenics. In 1916, Sanger opened the first birth control clinic in the United States, which led to her arrest for distributing information on contraception after an undercover police woman bought a copy of her pamphlet on family planning. How is that back in 1916 she was getting arrested? But now the same organization she got arrested for, all of a sudden it's rampant in our neighborhoods. You know why? Because it's not benefiting them. I mean, it's not benefiting us. It's benefiting them. So by all means, let's make it legal. Okay? Her subsequent trial and appeal generated controversy. Sanger felt that in order for women to have more equal footing in society and to lead healthier lives, they needed to be able to determine when to bear children. Oh yes, you're absolutely right. By wearing condoms and taking more natural provisions to not get pregnant if you're not ready for having babies, not by killing them. Okay? She also wanted to prevent so-called back alley abortions, which were common at the time because abortions were illegal in the United States. She believed that while abortion was sometimes justified, it should be generally be avoided, and she considered contraception the only practical way to avoid them. In 1921, Sanger founded the American Birth Control League, which later became the Planned Parenthood Federation of America. In New York City, she organized the first birth control clinic, staffed by all-female doctors, as well as clinic in Harlem, with an all-African-American advisory council, where African-American staff were later added. In 1929, she formed the National Committee on Federal Legislation for Birth Control, which served as the focal point of her lobbying efforts to legalize contraception in the United States. From 1952 to 1959, Sanger served as president of the International Planned Parenthood Federation. She died in 1966 and is widely regarded as a founder of the modern birth control. I repeat, she died in 1966. Give thanks to our ancestors. But it still doesn't negate the damage that she has done. Early life. Sanger was born Margaret Louise Higgins in 1879 in Coney, New York, to Irish Catholic parents, a free-thinking stonemason father, Michael Hennessy Higgins, and Anne Purcell Higgins. Michael had immigrated to the United States age 14, joining the army in the Civil War as a drummer age 15. Upon leaving the army, he studied medicine and phrenology. Let me see what that is. Phrenology is a pseudoscience which involves the measurement of bumps on the skull to predict mental traits. Of course, yeah, she got it from her father. But ultimately became a stone cutter, chiseling out angles, saints, and tombstones. Michael became an atheist, of course. I mean, I'm just saying. And an activist for the women's suffrage and free public education. So I'm just gonna leave that there. All right. You could do further reading on that. I will put all the links in the description below the video. But I just wanted to come back here again because, like I said, I don't know what you guys are talking about in the chat. All right. So thank you. I didn't realize it because I was just talking. All right. But I am back. So I'm saying all this to say, let me again make my disclaimer. I am not a woman. All right. I don't know what it means to have a child and be in a position that you are put in where you feel the need to have an abortion. I don't know. I am not here to judge you. So if you have, okay, I am not here to make you feel bad. That's not what this is about. I am saying moving forward as a people, all right, we have to put ourselves in a better position. We have to make better choices. My sister, stop going around just sleeping with men just because, you just want to have fun. And that's cool. My thing is make sure that when you do those things, there is a potential that you could bring an innocent life into this world. And if you are not ready for that emotionally, spiritually, financially, okay, physically, then don't do it. Okay? Take birth control. Make sure he wear a condom. If you feel, you don't want to use a condom because you like raw dog, man, that's cool. That's your thing. But at the end of the day, you be the more responsible one and use some form of birth control. Now, I'm not advocating what type of birth control to use. I don't know. Do your own research. I don't know what the side effects are. Once again, I'm not a woman. But all I'm just saying is let us stop bringing babies into this world when you are not ready. You see what I'm saying? And like I said before, yes, our children choose us. But it's unfortunate that they have to make a U-turn. All right? It's unfortunate they have to make a U-turn. And abortion is a U-turn. Because they know they are not ready for the world that they're coming into. Okay? They want to come have the experience. They knew what they was coming into. But at the end of the day, I'm just saying, man, we have to make better decisions. We have to go back to community. We have to go back to village. We have to go back to where there is that community support. All right? So that's all I'm just saying. I'm not here to judge you. And let's talk about adoption. Okay? Adoption is a beautiful thing. If you have a baby, all right, and you're not ready for the baby, for me, I prefer adoption 100% more than abortion. But here's the problem I have with adoption. I don't want, or I don't like, or I don't subscribe, or I don't support, or I don't condone our children being adopted by people of other ethnic groups. I'm not supporting that. Period. I will never support that. Because once again, we are of a different people. We know us. And only we are the ones who are supposed to raise our children. You feel me? Now, I know I may get some type of backlash for that, but it is what it is. I don't like Caucasian people adopting, melanated children. That is just me. And you know what, man? Listen, some of you may, I'm just going to keep it, like I said, I'm going to keep it real, 100. All right? Some of you may have been adopted by Caucasian parents and you have had great lives. But the culture is never the same. So that's the perspective that I'm saying it from. I'm not saying that they cannot provide financially. I'm not saying they cannot give emotional love. I'm not saying that. But it's a different culture. We are two different people. They would never get that. You feel what I'm saying? It's a genetic thing. So I don't like seeing it for that reason. Not because they cannot take care of them financially. Not because they cannot love them. And some people may say, well, Chief, you know what? Oh, well, at least they love them. They could provide for them financially. Yes, they can. I'm not disputing that. But the culture is not the same. It is not the same. And at some point, all right, that child is going to be missing out on who they truly are because they're being introduced to another culture that is not theirs. So let me make my disclaimer again. I am not saying that children haven't been, adopted, all right, by different ethnic groups or Caucasian people who adopted melanated children. I'm not saying that. Or heavy melanated children. Let me say heavy melanated because everybody got melanin. To me, it is just so ignorant when people say, we are, to the melanin people. Caucasians got melanin too, okay? They just have a different level of melanin. So everybody got melanin, just so y'all know. So when y'all talking about, melanin, everybody got melanin, all right? But anyway, what I'm saying is this. I'm not saying that they cannot provide for them financially. I'm not saying that they cannot love them emotionally. I'm not saying that, all right? I would be a hypocrite to say that. I have seen Caucasian people adopted heavy melanated children, and yes, they grew up in great homes, but something was always missing. It is that cultural aspect of that child's life. That's where I have the problem, okay? That's where I have the problem for me, all right? That's just all I'm saying. So with that being said, we as a people, we have to put ourselves in a better position where women, when they have children and they're not able to have those children, we should be in a position to take our children and raise our children because we have villages, we have communities to raise our children. We should not leave that responsibility or leave that option or let that be an option for anybody else to raise our children, period. And we should advocate against that. Those are our children, okay? And if you look at any declaration, international human rights, okay, indigenous children, first priority is to grow up with indigenous people. And that's another perspective I am looking at it at. We are supposed to, indigenous people are the best people to raise indigenous children, period, point blank. So if we are not doing better as a people, then we put our women in positions, okay? Yes, at the end of the day, yes, they have a whole part to play. They are responsible. I am not saying no, but things do happen. But when it do happen, we should be in a position, all right? We should find out all these adoption centers, okay? And have situations where all those children that are coming in, we should sanction them and forbid them from having our children be adopted by anybody else who's not indigenous. Period. We got work to do. And there's no reason why our women should be having at least 800,000 abortions every single year. Okay? To me, that's an abomination. And as a people, we are failing these women. As men, we are failing these women. Because I'm not going to let our brothers get away that easy. Too many of you are having babies and walking away. Okay? You enjoy the ride. Okay? You enjoy being ridden. But when the responsibility comes, when the baby get here, you pull your pants up and you run. And you put these women in positions where they're emotionally damaged because they thought you was going to be in a relationship. You give them the game, I love you, I want to be with you, have my baby. And as soon as the baby come, you run. We got to do better as men. And when these situations do happen, even if you do run away, women, you have to make sure that you have a village, you have a community, so you are not alone. At the end, well, not at the ending of the day, but in the continuation of life, the final decision is really up to you. It is up to you to make sure that you put yourself in a position, regardless of whether that man stays around or not, you have support. If you don't have the support, Don't put yourself in that position. Don't. Because it's not fair to your baby. It's not fair to you. You feel me? And that's just all I'm just saying, man. You know what I mean? That's all I'm just saying. Our babies are our future. You feel me? They are the ones that's going to carry our legacies. Yes, we were put here to be fruitful and multiply by all means. All right? But we were not put here to be fruitful and dumbify our children. And what do I mean by that? Meaning that we have children, you don't want to take responsibility and raise them. You put them in front of the television. You give them iPhones at the age of, 9 months old, and that's now is their parent. Every little child got a phone. Nobody sits at the table and have dinner, breakfast, or lunch anymore. Even when they're at the table, everybody's on their phone. I mean, what have we come to as a society of people? Where is our culture at? You dig? Where is our culture at? We have to go back to our ancestral ways, family. We are losing this battle. And if you're going to lose every battle, eventually you will lose the war. We shouldn't be having close to 1 million aborted African-American babies every single year. Okay? We shouldn't. No, man. This is more, it's beyond sad. It is beyond disturbing. I guarantee you, if it was Caucasian women that was doing that, and yes, I said it. It was Asian women, it was Arab women, it was Jewish women, that would not be the case. Okay? It would have been banned. It would have been illegal. But because it's our women, because it's indigenous women, because it's American Aboriginal women, because it's American Indian women, because it's black women, because it's African American women, because it's the Negro women, which is all one of the same. They just don't know who they are. Okay? That's why I mentioned all of them in the same group, because they're the same people. The African American is the American Aborigine. The American Negro is the American Indian. The blacks in the Americas is the American Indian. They just don't know who they are. So regardless, we can't turn our backs on them. That's our people. That's our family. You feel me? So not at the end, but in the continuation of life, we have to make sure that this stops. Okay? Because if it was the other way around, it would have been illegal. I guarantee you that. Those Jews wouldn't stand for that, because they're the ones running everything. They wouldn't stand for that. That their women are having more abortions than anybody else. Man, them Jews would shut this down immediately. But because it's not their women, they don't care, because you know what? They could have 10 babies. They could have 20 babies. I see them. Like I said, I'm from Brooklyn, son. All right? I see them, whether it may be in Crown Heights, whether maybe it may be in Williamsburg or different parts of Queens, wherever in New York. I see them. The man has a stroller, the woman has a stroller, all right? And sometimes it's double strollers with, I'm talking about a baby is like 6 months and another baby is like literally a year old and a year and a half. And then they have 5 other children walking in the street. Yes, I said the children's, okay? Walking in the street next to them. So that means they're teaching their women and their children and their communities to populate, while they're teaching our women and our people and our communities to depopulate. And y'all think y'all gonna win this? No, man. I like to see things for exactly what they are. You feel me? I like to see them for exactly what they are. We need to have more babies, period. But, however, let us not just have babies just for having babies' sake. We have to make sure that the conditions, okay? We have to make sure that the surroundings are conducive for raising children, protecting our children, making sure that our children are not born with their birth certificates, making sure that our children don't have their social security numbers. Okay? We could create our own as indigenous people. We have every right to do that. Let's stop selling our children into slavery. You feel me? Absolutely. Illegal abortions are illegal by nature. Okay, you don't see animals aborting their babies. No. If a child or an animal die by natural birth, then that's fine. You feel me? But the abortion is an intent. It's an intent. It's a decision that's made to take a life. You feel me? So you don't see no animal in nature pushing out their child and say, you know what, let me, no, you don't see that. So it's unnatural in nature. You feel me? So all I'm just saying is, as a people, we got work to do. We got work to do. This is not just about, oh, I'm an American Indian, I don't want to pay taxes. Oh, I'm an American Indian, oh, I want to be able to drive a car without a police stopping me. No, man, you see, we are looking at who we are as a people from the wrong perspective. All right, we are trying to reap all the benefits that is just strictly materialistic. You want to be able to walk into a store and not pay a 25 cents or 35 cents tax. But our children are dying in the streets. You feel me? You want to be able to be on a highway and do 200 miles per hour and the police don't stop you. But yet still, our children are being born with birth certificates. Come on, man. We gotta look at the bigger picture. Being an American Aboriginal, being an indigenous man or woman, being an American Indian, being the American Negro, what does it mean? It means that we have to go back to what's natural, our natural way of life. Okay? Our natural way of life, growing our own food, building our own homes, not paying rent, not buying food, not buying water, not paying for electricity. That's what it means to be an indigenous man or woman, to be self-sufficient, to be self-sustained. Okay? To be in a community when a woman have a child, if she want to pursue it, if she want to pursue an education, then there's a village to raise that baby so she could step into the matrix and get her education. That's what family and village and community is about. That's what it means to be indigenous. Not having foreigners tell us every single move, what to do, what not to do. No, that's not natural. You feel me? We are focusing on all the wrong things. But yet still, a sister gonna have a baby, and if she's in the hospital, they want to force her to have a birth certificate, or they're gonna call ACS or CPS, whatever the hell their name is. If she don't want to vaccinate her child, oh, well, oh, you don't have the best interest of the child. What you mean? I don't want to put that poison in my children. And indigenous children should not be subjected to those type of assimilations. So once again, man, being indigenous, like I said, is a whole lot deeper than what y'all think it is. Y'all think it's just a movement. You feel me? Y'all think it's just, it's not another conscious community, man. That is your life. That is your purpose, to be fruitful and multiply. Come on, man. So we have to do better as a people on a whole, period. We got to. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, man. Exactly. Too many people just think it's a group, man. You know what I'm saying? Like being indigenous or American Indian, it's a group. Well, you know what? That's the popular thing right now. I want to be part of that. No, man, that's not what it is. This is your life. This is your livelihood. And our livelihood and our lives are being controlled by people who are not us. They're not from our land. We are different genetically. So how can you make an informed decision as to what's best for me and my children? That goes against every right or every law. That goes against international law. You cannot tell indigenous people what's best for them. You can't. But you see, we allow it. We are the ones who allow it. You feel me? Because not enough of us is waking up. Not enough of us is coming together and standing up. Too many people want to be individuals. So I'm planting these seeds in your head to let you know that being indigenous is not a social club. Okay? It is not something you just join. It is something that you be. It's two different things. Okay? It's two complete different things. Okay? And that's just what it is. So we as a people, we got work to do. We have to make sure that our women are in a better place. They are in a better position. All right? We have to make sure that our men are in a better place. They're in a better position. We have to educate our people. All right? We have to educate our people. Abortions, that's a business. It's a very profitable business. It's all about commerce. Okay? At the end of the day, that's what it is. So we have to have more babies. But I don't want these babies coming into chaos. I don't want babies coming into cramped up apartments. I don't want babies being born in the projects. Okay? Let us get land. Get an acre, get 2 acres, build your home, have your babies, let them have space to run. Get them away from these phones and these TVs. Teach them about culture, nature, how to use your hand to build things, grow, create. That's what being fruitful and multiply really means. You feel me? We do need to have more babies. All right? Absolutely. Our babies are our ancestors coming back. But they don't want to come back in these chaotic situations. You feel me? No. So they are putting mechanisms so that we could depopulate our children while they themselves, they are populating their children. You feel me? No, man. We got to see what's going on. We got to see what's going on. So I'm about to conclude this video because I've been on for a while. I just wanted to come, deliver this message. You feel me? And once again, let me just say this. If you have been there before, all right, I'm not here to tell you that. I'm not here to judge you. It is what it is. Because at the end of the day, that same child that was aborted, that spirit or that I am that was about to manifest here went back to the source. Because they know they was coming into a situation that they didn't sign. Well, it wasn't part of their contract. So they made a U-turn. They made a U-turn. You feel what I'm saying? So now they are looking for ways to come back. All right? But they want to make sure that the environment they come back to is conducive to serve the purpose. You feel me? To serve the purpose that they need to serve. Our babies are our ancestors. Our babies are literally us in our past lives coming back, reincarnating. It's a 360. You feel me? So let us create better situations moving forward. All right? If you see a sister is pregnant, all right? By all means, talk to her. Support her. She don't have to be your brother. She don't have to be your sister. Your blood sister. She don't have to be your daughter. She don't have to be your niece. She don't have to be a relative. It could be just a girl that's in the neighborhood. You see she's pregnant and people pay attention in the hood. We see what's going on. You feel me? We see what's going on in the hood. So you know when it's a sister and she's by herself. Reach out to the sister. Form a support group and be there with her. Give her that emotional support, even if it's in the projects. Because you are nothing but an Indian in the projects. You are nothing but an American Indian in the hood. So no matter where we at, we could still have community. Community is all in the mind to commune. It's all in the mind. You feel me? So we could still be in the projects and in the hood doing the rain dance because that's who we are. Like I said, it's a lifestyle. Okay? It's not a social club. And stop having babies to hold on to a man. That's not going to let him stay. You feel me? So be more responsible. Be more responsible. And brothers, we got to do better, man. We got to learn to respect and appreciate our women. All right? Be real. Be 100%. If you just want some booty, then keep it real, man. Stop playing the games. All right? Stop playing the games. I keep telling y'all, women, you know what I'm saying? More women would appreciate the truth more than a lie. So keep it 100. But let us just stop looking at our women as objects. You see what I'm saying? Stop playing the emotional games with them because now you are damaging them. You feel me? And there's nothing like a woman scorn. Hurt people, man. So we got to do better as men. You feel me? I'm not saying that you can't have a good time, but be responsible. Be responsible. That's what I'm saying. You feel me? And if you're a brother and you see other brothers disrespecting women, putting them down, man, listen, check them. You see what I'm saying? Check them. That's what a brother is supposed to do for another brother. Maybe it's just me, man. You know what? Maybe I just feel and see and know our people could do so much more. You see what I'm saying? And I just want to give us the benefit of the doubt because I love us so much. I don't care what anybody say about us. I'm not going to pay attention to that. All I could see is goodness. All I could see is enlightenment for my people, man. I got to continue to stay on that high vibration and that high frequency when it comes to my people. I got to give us the benefit of the doubt because I know where we have been. And if we used to do it, it doesn't matter where we are at right now. It's where we are going to go. That's what I'm focused on. You feel me? Because it's nothing but a continuation of life. We did it before. Now we're in a position where, okay, you know what? We are going through some ups and downs. We are going through situations where, yes, a lot of what we are trying to do is being handicapped by the so-called powers. But let us not give up. Let us not give up. Because it's not where we have been. It's not where we are at, but it's where we are going. Okay? It's where we are going. And I know we shall overcome. I know victory is ours. There's nothing they could do to stop it. All right? We are victorious. And I don't care if it's one seed at a time that I'm going to plant. I'm going to continue to plant those seeds. I don't care if it's one brother, one sister's life or mind that I could change for the best. Then I have done my job. I have done my duties. I have served my purpose. And I just hope one day that the ancestors would put me in a position where I'll be able to provide an environment where our women could if you don't have, you can't take care of your children. If you're having a hard time, there's a community set up all around the United States and in the Americas where you could go on some land and raise your children without distress in a community where there's love. Hopefully, before I leave this physical realm in this body, hopefully my ancestors could let me bring that into fruition. Because I know I'm here for a bigger purpose. I know that. And it's going to be fulfilled. So with that being said, we got work to do. All right. I know someone said that they want to get in contact with me. My email is always below the link of the video. So I'm the easiest person to get in contact with. And anybody will tell you whenever they hit me up, I always respond. All right. So my email is in the link below for anybody who want to link me. Like I said, we got work to do. All right. It has been something that I wanted to talk about for a very long time. You feel me? A very, very long time. But I always like to wait for the ripe moment for my ancestors to guide me to, to bring certain messages out. So I hope that the message was received with the love that it was given. By no means this is an attack. It wasn't an attack. It's not meant, it wasn't intended for that. It's just, again, to show you the situation that we're in as a people because of the lack of education, the lack of community, the lack of village, the lack of support. Okay? Let us stop focusing on being independent. Let us focus on what's called interdependency, where we you know what? We depend on each other to live our lives. Okay? That's it. And that's what we should all strive for. We should strive for synergy, learning to work together for a bigger cause. Every other ethnic group is doing it. So why can't we do it? You see what I'm saying? So in the continuation of life, not the ending of the day, but in the continuation of life, we have to make sure that our women are good. Okay? I don't care what the situation is. I know a lot of our women could, yes, they could be a handful. Oh, trust me, I know. I've been there. But at the ending of and the continuation of life, right? We still have obligation as men to stand up and make sure that our children are good. All right? And that's all it is, man. So that's all I got for you. And I guess we'll talk a little later, all right? Enjoy the rest of your continuation. And thank you for being a part of this build. I know it's a touchy and a sensitive thing to talk about. And just to kind of summarize, the whole thing about adoption. Like I said, every child deserves a chance to have a better life. So it doesn't matter who, and I'm going to say this again and be sincere about it. It doesn't matter who could give that child a better life. I am in support of that child, okay, getting that better life opposed to being aborted. However, I would prefer, that's just my choice. I would prefer that our children are adopted by us opposed to any other ethnic group. I don't care whether it's Caucasians. I don't care whether it's Asians. I don't care whether it's Arabs. I don't care whether it's, whoever. Okay? In the continuation of life, I just feel that our children are better with us. And that is just my opinion. And I'm entitled to that. All right? So with that being said, do another build later, but we'll see. All right? So you guys will talk soon. All right? Peace and love.